I'm 30 years old. I've been gaming for basically the entirety of my life, and as such, I've also witnessed the long growth of gaming, including the slow evolution into online gaming. Therefore, I have also been in many gaming communities. Sometimes I tend to hear often is that the idea that Dead by Daylight has the worst community out of all of them. The most toxic, homophobic, racist community. Absolutely terrible, and can sometimes even be cited as the reason someone quits Dead by Daylight. Now, is it the worst? I don't think so. When thinking about the worst gaming communities, I tried to think of several I've been in. Call of Duty definitely comes to mind. It's definitely the most racist community I've ever been in. Call of Duty is the only game where the N-word is damn near a comma. Every single game has multiple of them dropped without hesitation. You can constantly hear some of the unhinged shit said about black people. The most memorable one for me was someone who spent an entire match talking about how the South should have won, all because one dude on the other team sniped him. It's absolutely atrocious. The Riot community is also pretty fucking bad. Both times I've tried Riot Games, I got told to off myself in the very first game I ever played. In League, I was trying to learn the game playing against the fucking bots, and this dude was like, "Holy shit, we're gonna lose to bots because if you kindly kill yourself." Which is simultaneously fucking horrific and hilarious at the same time. Yes, hello, good sir. Would you do me such an awful kindness and take your own life in a clean, polite way, if possible? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, at least he asked nicely, I guess. My very first game of Valorant, I didn't push into some omen smoke to kill someone who was apparently one-shot, and got told, maybe you should uninstall and then slit your wrist with the mouse, you loser. Which doesn't even make sense when you think about it. How sharp are your mouses you're able to cut flesh with it? Fucking John Wick over here using a mouse as a slashing weapon playing Valorant. You should be working for the CIA. In any case, the point is if I were to label any community the most toxic, it would definitely go to Riot. Let's try another community then. The Overwatch community definitely has some fight for the worst community of all time. They are certainly the most arrogant community I've ever met. I permanently keep voice chat off in that game and sometimes text chat because no matter what the game mode, you make one mistake and you can guarantee some hard-stuck gold player on your team is going to yell at you for the rest of the match about how you are the worst player they've ever met and you should be playing this instead of that and how they would just be able to climb if it weren't for all their trash teammates. And as someone who coached Overwatch for 2 years as a personal coach, it was always their fault of why they were hard stuck whatever rank they were in. Not one time in 2 years did I ever get a client that wasn't at fault for their rank. The Overwatch community is also really addicted to ranks, oftentimes using them as weapons and arguments. Yeah, well, I'm masters, and yeah, nobody cares, bro. And most of the time, they aren't even masters. Once you dig too far into their actual rank, it's always some low-level shit. They will always ask you what rank you are in an attempt to win a debate you're having, never arguing actual facts. So yeah, the Overwatch community is definitely the most arrogant. Finally, the Apex community, which is hands down the most homophobic in my experience. Odd thing to say, considering Apex as a game has quite possibly the single most diverse cast in gaming when it comes to the LGBTQ. But you'd be hard-pressed to go on one game without hearing a homophobic or transphobic slur. Player names regularly have some fucked shit. Players regularly misgender Bloodhound and Catalyst just because they can. A gay pro player named Hambino is regularly attacked for his sexuality. The Apex community is also the most clout chasey. They regularly will ignore anyone who doesn't have their name attached to someone bigger, and you'll find creators in that space openly mocking people who don't have as big as numbers. Oftentimes, you'll see collabs happen between two people, and as soon as one of those people gets bigger than the other, they drop them to game with people of higher stature. So the Dead by Daylight community isn't the most racist, toxic, arrogant, queerphobic, or even clout chasey. But it is the most annoying, and the most up its own ass. The Dead by Daylight community is insufferable, for lack of a better word. They take everything way too fucking seriously and personally. I made a joke video about distortion. It was just a funny haha meme based off of a Choi video where his thumbnail showed how much shit distortion countered. So I made a video of that meme of the dude slapping a bunch of people, put distortion over the face of the dude, and all the aura perks over the people getting slapped. It was a 37-second video made completely in jest and for the sole purpose of trying to elicit a laugh. And it took less than 4 hours for absolute ragers to swarm it. People calling me a whiny entitled killer main, complaining about a nothing perk, killer mains flooding me to tell me how distortion isn't that bad, and I should just learn how to use my ears. I'm deaf, by the way. The amount of people who were screaming about how Gearhead actually counters distortion, and I need to play the game for more than 10 hours before I try to talk about the game. Just a cavalcade of people having shit-flinging contests all over a joke video that was less than 40 seconds long. That video on my second YouTube channel, by the way, has almost 19,000 views as of recording this, and the comment section is just a full-blown war zone of people going at each other and screaming and yelling, and oh my god, it's ridiculous. This community will rage, cry, send death threats, and hurl slurs because you put their favorite character in a lower part of a tier list than they think it should be. They will get beaten in a video game and go into streamers' chats to cry and bitch and moan about how you played the fucking video game. Most of all of this community is the only one I've ever seen that will try to cancel a famous streamer because he said they got lucky. Like, no shit, this community spent a good 3 days crying because they got called lucky and didn't get complimented for their skill, and that one person opened the door to more people doing the same thing. Y'all will call people toxic over the most benign shit I've ever seen in my life. DBD players are so up their own asses, they will make the most unreasonable demands I've ever heard, like, behavior should run changes by us before they put them on the PTB. Like I told my friend Bennett when he and I talked about it, at what fucking point do we draw the line on that? You want behavior to live stream their fucking balance meetings or some shit? The ever prominent behavior doesn't listen to us gets more and more ridiculous every time it gets said. Recently, someone said behavior doesn't listen to us because fuckle up combo hasn't been changed. Like, yeah, behavior doesn't have a perfect fucking track record, but them reverting an entire rework should speak for itself. Of course, with this community, it doesn't. This community believes game development happens overnight and never thinks about any nuance when it comes to anything. There's so much more I can talk about. How about every time I go to make a suggestion about things that should be changed, some absolute miserable fuck ends up in the comments, sounds good, but this will never happen because behavior is lazy and greedy and only cares about cosmetics. Like, oh my god, please shut the fuck up. This is also the only community I've ever seen that complains when somebody is playing to win. Like, they will screenshot builds and put them on Twitter and all this other shit, or they will like fucking go off on a multi-paragraph tangent about people playing the game in a way to try to win. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This addiction to misery, taking things too seriously or too personally, refusing to remove their heads from their own ass for 5 minutes to actually touch grass and view the world around them. Come back to reality. Your family misses you. I'm not saying the Dead by Daylight community doesn't have any of the problems of the other communities. I'm also not saying the other communities don't have the problems the Dead by Daylight community has. I simply wanted to explore whether or not the Dead by Daylight community is the worst gaming community I have ever been a part of, and I don't think they are. They are, however, the most insufferable to deal with. And that's everything I have for you guys today. Please, of course, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. And as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Did you like the background footage and want to see more? Then head on over to my second channel, The Kaiser VODs, where you can see full gameplay, stream compilations, me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips, and more. We also have a new short that goes up every single day along with the full games. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.